Okay, one more attempt at this because I went to post this video earlier and it wouldn't post to Facebook because I had music playing in the background. Did it though? It was copyrighted. So, show the structural rigidity of the whole frame. It's late in the day. I've been up all day. I can't talk. It's quite strong. So, very little flex, which is nice. Not much forward back flex. I have the two doors here. Will get attached with hinges right there. Two sets of hinges with just simple pins you can pull. The doors come off. This whole thing can go through doorways. Most doorways. It's only 2 feet wide, so that'll help. And if you look at the rest of the stuff that I have listed on the Facebook, and you'll see what I have left to do. So quite a bit, yeah. No, pretty happy with how it's turning out. This will be where the monitor goes. Yep. I think I mentioned it earlier. I have the fold-up seat, but I think I'm going to nix that because it's going to be completely useless once the actual seat is up here and I won't have anywhere to go. Alright, hope you like it. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bob Builds Crap. Yay! Not really. I don't build crap. I build good stuff. Quality stuff. I take old stuff and I make new stuff out of it because it's not crap. It used to be crap, but now it's not crap. Anyway, so I'm making a video. I'm not doing it live on Facebook because the whole live thing sucks most of the time, and I want to target this directly for my project, so it's kind of pointless to do it live because what's the point if I'm doing it just for this project? You're going to watch it anyway, right? Right. Anyway, so now to what we're doing. So this is the computer frame. I have the hinges on now. So it closes. Nice little magnetic locks in there. I'm looking at my phone backwards, so if I do miss the focus on this, I do apologize. But nice little backward latch there. I have the seat. It's not attached yet. It's just in there. Hinges again. So I'm going to show you here as I get into this contraption. I apologize for the angle. Nice and solid. Very comfortable. Get my thumb off the camera there. So plenty of arm space on the sides. Have this nice little door latch right here. Closes nice and easily. And that latch holds pretty well. Actually, this latch over here holds much better, but it's in pretty good shape. And show you down here at my feet. Can't zoom in this one great. So show you down here at my feet. There will be a pad here, and of course pedals and everything else. But for now, you can see the angle. It's actually very, very comfortable. Monitor will be right there. I'm doing everything from my perspective at the moment, so it's kind of nice. Down here, let's see, can you see my hand? There we go. So right here is going to be a mouse pad, so I'm going to have to build an attachment right here. Mouse pad there. Over here, there's going to be another, essentially a rotating pad that you can pull in and out, nice and easy. It'll have a multi-controller there, because I like my controllers for my games. I did say that I've decided to go with a curved monitor, so I'm going to have one curved monitor right here. I can easily do a 34-inch curved monitor. That would be really, really nice. Instead of the 3-monitor setup. And yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. I haven't done a lot of work. Just I'm tired and had a long day at work, and not that I did a whole lot of work, but yeah, so the project's coming along. The frame itself is pretty much there, and I keep forgetting which side the camera is on the phone, so I apologize if I'm looking over here all the time, because I'm looking at me. I look so good, don't I? Don't answer that, don't comment on that, because that's just terrible. Anyway, so yeah, it's coming along. And so next up is I have a frame, and I apologize for the crotch shot. Yeah. So down here is where the computer will sit. I have the rails for it already. I modified the butt plate. I'm just going to call that the butt plate for the seat. You can see the seat is not attached. But it's not precarious, and it's comfortable. I can put my head all the way back, and I don't exactly hit the bar, which is good. But if I have to, I can move that cross brace. It wouldn't be that difficult. So, yeah, that's the progress for now. Check back in, I guess, in a couple of days or a week or whenever the heck I get around to updating this post. And let me know what you think. All right, well, see y'all later. Bye. Well, hello everyone. So, another update for the computer. I'm going to film it all from this side, so I'm always looking at the camera. I'm not looking at my pretty face on the screen anymore, and that way the focus is all specifically where it's supposed to be. And when I turn the phone around, I can see exactly what I'm focused on. Alright, so here we go. Alright, we now have quite a bit of stuff done here. As you can see, there's a good amount of wiring that has been done. That is an extreme mess. That's the subwoofer that goes to the speaker system. That will be up in this area where the floorboard will be, I have decided. That will make it easy for once we get to all the connectors and everything that go through the doors. I was going to use a single Molex connector for everything, but for signal quality and the fact that there's really not a whole lot of excess connectors other than USB and a couple of speaker lines, I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm just going to use the connectors as they are. So you'll see up here, I'll get in here nice and close. I have a fan that's already installed. I have the wiring spliced in, and it is I can disconnect it at any time I need to. That will run to a fan controller system. So there'll be a fan up here. There'll be a fan down there. That'll be the intake. This will be the exhaust, because as you know, hot air goes up. So there's the rear right speaker. Over there, as you can see, is the rear left speaker. The seat, as you have seen it before, it is actually now attached. So it's not really going anywhere. And it's still in a pretty comfortable position. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this door here. So opens up nice and easy. As you can see, I have all the cabling down there attached and runs through the door nicely. So I've done two things with the chair. I know in one of the videos I said that I was not going to make it so that the seat could swivel up, but I am actually going to keep it that way. I managed to make a pretty solid mount. So this seat will be able to collapse down just like this, and if I do get a new version of this seat, I will make sure it does the same thing. I'd like to get one of those nice Recaro seats that they sell. But the other nice part about this is this clears. So once I decide to make a back panel here, I'm going to make a two-section back panel. It'll go from right here and up and here down. That'll allow for accessibility behind the computer system. As you can see, I've already built, it's not attached across yet, so it's not exactly stable, but I have built the rail for the actual computer hole. It does slide in and out. I have one really annoying screw right there. I'm just going to have to remove it, so not a big deal. I will eventually weld these things so those screws won't be in the way. So I have both sides on. Same thing over here. Because it's not attached to the crossbar yet, they will come out. So here's the nice part. Here's the cable loom, by the way. So all the cabling is going to be coming down there. So here's the other nice part. The fact that I can take this whole seat and swivel it out of the way. Yes, that's right. So if I remove that back panel, I will still have full access to every single thing down here. It didn't take too much more engineering. As you can see, I had to really tear apart this seat here, but that's not a big deal. Nice solid seat mounts in there. But yeah, so now I have full access to this whole area underneath whenever I do need it. So it's coming along. So I'll show you the top right speaker here. There's the center channel. There's the left top, or the front left speaker, I should say, not top speaker. And so that's how it's all progressing right now. So wiring is going to take me a little bit longer. than I thought it would, but that's just because I want to make sure it's done right. As you can see, this is the whole thing as it currently sits. Both doors are attached. It is exactly 3 feet wide. It's kind of nice. Those doors come off without any issue whatsoever. They collapse down into a single foot wide enclosure if I need to move them around in one piece, which makes it easy. And then, of course, the center section is only 2 feet wide. So this will go through any doorway that I need to get it through, provided nothing's on the other side of the door that because it's too long. That's neither here nor there, and I won't care until that time comes. So, yep, that's progress as it's going. That's it for tonight. Heading out to a show, so that's about it for today. Hope you all like it. Thanks. Well, hi, good evening, folks. So, welcome to another episode of Bob Builds Computers. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on some kind of title. Well, tonight I'm going to run some cabling. I'm going to show you how easily this thing flips over, and possibly put on some feet for tonight. I have some casters that I just bought. They're 1-inch nylon casters. So, yeah. So I'm going to get right into it. Apologize for noise in the background. Roommate's doing some laundry. So, alright. Let's get into it. First, got to clear off all the stuff, of course. So here are the feet that I bought. Essentially, they are a ball type caster, meaning just a ball right at the bottom here. They run on the series of bearings that are on the inside here. That way they're unidirectional or omnidirectional, so I don't have to worry about the angle at which normal caster would turn. It'll just move whichever direction you push it, which is perfect for the doors, but it makes the whole thing really maneuverable. They're rated for 44 pounds a piece, so I have 8 of them. Figure I'm going to put 6 of them on the main cage itself. Just doing the math there, it's an easy 240 pounds, which, conveniently enough, is how much I weigh. Plus the 2 that'll go on the doors will increase the weight. It'll hold a little bit more, but we'll see how the 6 do for now. I might have to actually order a couple more, depending on how much the whole thing flexes and how much weight these take before they start to bind on the bearings. So we'll see how it works. All right. So, one of the things I wanted to do with this build was make sure that the whole thing was light enough to be maneuverable and to be moved around from place to place. And I'm going to angle this down here. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to turn this thing up and over. This piece of wood here first. Now there was a concrete weight that was in the chair. I took that out before the monitor decides to run away on its own. I'll step this out like that. And I'll show you just how easy it is to tip this thing up and over. I can use 2 fingers. I am a big guy. I do have a little strength in me, but the whole thing is really amazingly light. Back, so it clears the stuff over there, and just like that, it's down. Almost set it on the power plate that I made last night. So yeah, that's how easy it is to turn this whole thing over. Pretty good, huh? Re-angle this again. Alright, so now to attach some feet. Feet. So once I get it turned back over, I did make one other modification, sort of at the behest of my roommate. I had entertained originally the idea of running a lot of my cabling down the support arms. And I figured, well, if I drill a hole into them, that might lose a little bit of its structural integrity. But the thing is my side bars that go down the middle of the doors aren't really structural. They're just sort of torsional. So they keep the door from twisting, really, essentially. But because of the way I built it, it should actually hold itself up really well. And I realized once I get the outer skin on there, that will also help against twisting. So I notched off the corner of each of them, and that'll now allow me to run all of the cabling right down the arms. I won't have to have any of the extra spots where I have the cables currently sitting. So for the feet, it's going to go just like this. So that way the weight is shared across multiple directions on the frame. So there's going to be one here, and one at the bottom, and likewise on the opposite side. So I'm going to move this camera since it's in my way. And roll this down again. There we go. Grab some screws. I'm going to have to put some washers on these screws because they dropped one. Because the mounting hole for these guys have a larger head. Being that it is aluminum, I don't actually have to use the self-tapping screws. I can force some wide head screws in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill. Use my wider head screws anyway. Let's see. I want to get the most weight I can onto this guy. It's also because I know all of you like staring at my backside. Let me give you a better view here. Oh yeah. Probably off camera. I don't know because I'm not looking at it right now, but I suppose that would be best for everyone. Alright. Those are all marked. I should also mention it's almost midnight. I didn't get off work until 10 o'clock, so I just decided, well, I'll get some work done. Oh, the other thing that came in, my replacement HDMI cable and DisplayPort cables came in, so the other reason I want to go ahead and start tackling this. Oh yeah, I know what you guys are going to say. Where's my eye protection? I talk about it all the time. I don't have enough. Oh, no. I am out of my necessary screws. I did not pre-plan this. These are the ones I was about to use, but as you can see, I only have 6, which means I can only do 3 of these. Shoot. Alright, well, plan B. Plan B. Ah, wait a minute. I found some more. Yeah, look at that. So I have 6 right now. That's 8, 10. So 10, well, it'll at least get me the base done. Or will it? No. Yes. I need a total of, I'm sorry, it's late math, you know. I need a total of 12 for the center section. 4, 6, 8, 12, plus 4 for the 2 doors. So good. We have 3 to spare. 3 to spare. Yeah. All right. Now to put them in. Presto! We now have casters. Woo! The whole thing is officially mobile. Well, I'm not for sure once I get it turned over. Anyway. Alright, so one more thing I have to do while I have it on its side, and that is to get the wiring in. So I'm going to bring it all back up here. Back them up. So basically, what I have to do right now, once I get this tripod into place, so this right here houses all my major cabling. And what I had arrived in the mail today was a brand new HDMI cable and a brand new DisplayPort cable. Absolutely 4K rated, 4K at 60 hertz rated cable. It's braided, so it's extra durable, but it's not really a necessity in this case. No pun intended, I suppose. But I wanted to make sure that I had a decent, high quality cable running through the system. Now some of these, this is not one of them as it looks like, they're directional. Active HDMI cables are directional. This is not one of them. So as you can see, it's the same thing on either side. No direction indicated. So don't have to worry about way to run it. So start off by simply running it where I need it to run, like that. And I find the easiest way for this type of plastic channel is to actually run it from the center first, like this, and then work your way out. And I find the best way to get it into this kind of stuff is just to wiggle it back and forth. You want to avoid running your finger down the channel as the plastic can cut. I've done that a few times. It's fairly malleable, so you can usually squeeze it and get it around. So I'm at another part here that will be a little more difficult. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good place for the camera here to look in upon this. Because I mounted this board here, it is a little difficult for me to see some of this. Bear with me as I try to work this through. Doing this before you put it into the computer, of course, would actually be significantly easier. But this being a first-time venture and all, didn't exactly know how long things were going to need to be. So, there we go. All in there, I can put the ties back into place. And there we go. New cabling is now installed. So, let's tip this guy back over. Get this back into a workable position. And see how well the casters work. Like I said, it does not take a whole lot of energy to really turn this guy over. This caster should start to take. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Just glides. Door open. A little noisy. That's the bearings, but I am very, very happy with that. I am indeed. And now I have the new connectors and the cables. You can plug it in and get rolling. Alright, folks. Well, that's that. It's now on casters. Rolls around just like it's supposed to. Doors open and close nice and easily now. It's like I designed it that way. Isn't it amazing? I know, right? Yeah. Cables are in. I can toss the computer in just to do a check and make sure everything turns on. Make sure the new cables is... one point. If you're doing something like this, you should probably test the cables before installing them, just like I didn't do, which is what led me into this, because I didn't test the HDMI cable the last time before putting it in. I'm just going to go on chance for right now. If they don't end up working, well, then that's all on me. But for now, I'm tired. I think I'm going to go to bed, since it's well after midnight. Alright, well, thanks for watching. This will be a, this is at 43 minutes, so this is going to be a multi-part video, of course. If you've already made it this far through the video, this is probably the third of a three-parter. Since you made it this far, you're already aware that it's 3 parts. Okay. All right. Well, hello everyone. So, another update for the computer. I'm going to film it all from this side, so I'm always looking at the camera. I'm not looking at my pretty face on the screen anymore, and that way the focus is all specifically where it's supposed to be. And when I turn the phone around, I can see exactly what I'm focused on. Alright, so here we go. Alright, we now have quite a bit of stuff done here. As you can see, there's a good amount of wiring that has been done. That is an extreme mess. That's the subwoofer that goes to the speaker system. That will be up in this area where the floorboard will be, I have decided. That will make it easy for once we get to all the connectors and everything that go through the doors. I was going to use a single Molex connector for everything, but for signal quality and the fact that there's really not a whole lot of excess connectors other than USB and a couple of speaker lines, I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm just going to use the connectors as they are. So you'll see up here, I'll get in here nice and close. I have a fan that's already installed. I have the wiring spliced in, and it is I can disconnect it at any time I need to. That will run to a fan controller system. So there'll be a fan up here. There'll be a fan down there. That'll be the intake. This will be the exhaust, because as you know, hot air goes up. So there's the rear right speaker. Over there, as you can see, is the rear left speaker. The seat, as you have seen it before, it is actually now attached. So it's not really going anywhere. And it's still in a pretty comfortable position. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this door here. So opens up nice and easy. As you can see, I have all the cabling down there attached and runs through the door nicely. So I've done 2 things with the chair. I know in one of the videos I said that I was not going to make it so that the seat could swivel up, but I am actually going to keep that way. I managed to make a pretty solid mount. So this seat will be able to collapse down, just like this, And if I do get a new version of this seat, I will make sure it does the same thing. I'd like to get one of those nice Recaro seats that they sell. But the other nice part about this is this clears. So once I decide to make a back panel here, I'm going to make a 2-section back panel. It'll go from right here and up and here down. That'll allow for accessibility behind the computer system. As you can see, I've already built, it's not attached across yet, so it's not exactly stable, but I have built the rail for the actual computer hold. It does slide in and out. I have one really annoying screw right there. I'm just going to have to remove it, so not a big deal. I will eventually weld these things so those screws won't be in the way. So I have both sides on. Same thing over here. Because it's not attached to the crossbar yet, they will come out. So here's a nice part. Here's the cable loom, by the way. So all the cabling is going to be coming down there. So here's the other nice part. The fact that I can take this whole seat and swivel it out of the way. Yes, that's right. So if I remove that back panel, I will still have full access to every single thing down here. It didn't take too much more engineering. As you can see, I had to really tear apart this seat here, but that's not a big deal. Nice solid seat mounts in there. But yeah, so now I have full access to this whole area underneath whenever I do need it. So it's coming along. So I'll show you the top right speaker here. There's the center channel. There's the left top, or the front left speaker, I should say, not top speaker. And so that's how it's all progressing right now. So wiring is going to take me a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that's just because I want to make sure it's done right. As you can see, this is the whole thing as it currently sits. Both doors are attached. It is exactly 3 feet wide. It's kind of nice. Those doors come off without any issue whatsoever. They collapse down into a single foot wide enclosure if I need to move them around in one piece, which makes it easy. And then, of course, the center section is only 2 feet wide. So this will go through any doorway that I need to get it through, provided nothing's on the other side of the door because it's too long. That's neither here nor there, and I won't care until that time comes. So, yep, that's progress as it's going. That's it for tonight. Heading out to a show, so that's about it for today. Hope you all like it. Thanks. Hi, everyone. That's right! I'm live! So, yeah, sorry, that's probably far too exciting. Anyway, I decided to go live tonight on Facebook because I have all of my computer components ready to put into the computer, so I'm going to start doing some of that tonight. I posted a couple of videos to the computer page, or the album of pictures for the computer already, so if you want to look through those at any time, you're welcome to. They have a nice little pro tip on there, you know, because I'm a nice guy like that, and I'm doing a whole lot of needless pointing. Hands. What to do with my hands. Acting. Right? Yeah. Hi, Stephanie! So, tonight, probably going to take about 10-15 minutes, maybe at the most, for this video. I'm going to get with some of the unboxing for the computer components. Yeah! So, we're going to start out tonight with an 850 watt PSU from EVGA. So, it's sort of a pseudo unboxing video / putting things together. Yeah. So thank you for tuning on in. Who else do we have? Leonard. Hey, shouldn't you be watching your mother's birthday? Which, by the way, say happy birthday to her. Although that's Saturday, so it's not today. But you're at her party, so you should be partying. Right, Leonard? Right? Okay. Anyway. Unless you have other people watching with you, which is perfectly fine. If you put this on the big screen and everybody can watch in, it's like one big party watching me. So, back to the unboxing of the power supply. That. So this is nice. This is probably the largest power supply I've ever had to put in a computer. Granted, I haven't really built a full-fledged computer in a while. I did help build one for a friend of mine, probably about 2 years ago, thereabouts. Anyway, what'd you say, Leonard? Yes. Good, good. Alright, so first up, let's not make everything fall out of here. The big power supply. Now I ordered a modular power supply. What that means is that the power supply itself does not have really any cables except for one main power cable that's plugged into it. So that's this guy right here, the ATX cable plus the auxiliary power pins. So open this guy up and I'll show you the back of this thing. So the back here, you'll see a whole bunch of ports for all of the plugs. So that way you don't have to utilize every plug that's generally on the power supply, which tends to make a mess, and this way it makes everything nice and clean. So these are all the extra plugs that come along with it. We're going to put that away for now because they're not necessary at the moment. Hi, Suze. So now what I have to figure out is where this is going to go. Now if you tuned into my video earlier, which is probably pretty hard because I just posted that video not more than 30 seconds before going live, so you probably didn't see that video. I was talking about how to effectively ground yourself when working on a computer, because it's something you should always do whenever you're working on really expensive computer components. Well, if you do not have a grounding strap for your wrist and you don't have a pad to stand on for grounding yourself, there's another trick. And what that is you can take an old power supply like this guy right here. You don't have to worry about it because it won't turn on while it's plugged in, because you're not sending any of the sensor, you're not pressing the button essentially, so you can turn it on or off there. But because this cable is grounded via that grounding pin and plugged into the wall, it's therefore grounded to your house, therefore this case is grounded. So if you ever feel like you're in danger of statically charging your equipment, all you have to do, touch that, you're grounded. And if you're afraid at any time while you're actually working there, you just keep your hand on it while you're doing the work. So anyway, back to what I was doing. So if you watch any of the other videos, you'll see that I've already added the motherboard tray to the actual tray that's going to be going into the computer. Hey, Chris! So that way I can get the motherboard in tonight. I can get most of the components in tonight because I have just about everything. I do not have my my thermal paste for the processor, so I'm not going to be putting the processor on tonight, more than likely. It's pretty much just going to be the computer itself, the motherboard, and the base components for it. And of course the power supply. Hi, Mom! So, I have a spot. Now it's always nice and convenient when you measure things out ahead of time. That way you make sure they work. That way you're not worried about something like this fitting into a spot and not actually fitting, right? So the only thing I have not figured out is the actual physical mount. So that's going to come a little later on. But yeah. So that's the first bit of unboxing we're going to do for this guy. I know where this is going to sit, so that's not an issue. I've already made a place for it. And I don't know if that's on camera. There's a box in the way. Let's see here. Let's get this box out of the way without knocking over my monster, which is very important. By the way, this is brought to you by Monster Energy Drink. The one thing that keeps me going night and day. Yeah. Anyway, back to the computer. So the power supply is going to be mounted over here. Probably in about that position. So I'm going to have to make a little mount, and I've lost my pen. Mark this out here. Good. So a little note there. So that it comes around from the screws. Okay. So now that we know where the power supply is going to go, we're going to put this away over here. Next up, I'm not going to unbox it right away, but we have 16 gigs of RAM. Hi from me and Riley. Oh, hi, Riley. How are you, little buddy? That's my nephew, folks. So, RAM, which we're not going to open up right now because it's pointless without the motherboard in there, which is coming. Some of you will laugh at me, but I'm going to laugh at myself too. I bought a mouse pad that lights up. Yeah, isn't that awesome? If for no other reason because it lights up. Yes. Silly, I know. Says me, but that is. Video card. All these, of course, you're going to see in pictures. I'm going to post these all on the computer page. So this is the video card. It's a 1070. I was going to go for the 1080, but the $300 difference in price I couldn't justify quite yet. So in the future. Future. Oh, what else? What else do we have? And the cooler for the processor. It's a fan cooler. I actually have a water cooler from my old quad-core processor, but I don't believe the mounts would actually work. So I'm not even going to attempt to try and make that work. And just to save a little bit of money, I'm going to go with the cheaper option. This is a $30 fan as opposed to a $100 cooling, because this is going to have plenty of natural cooling anyway. So I'm not going to have to worry about how much I need to cool down that processor. It's going to be able to do it on its own. The actual processor, it is a Core i7 7700K. This is the fully unlocked processor. Yes, means I can overclock this guy. And it's already running at 4.2 gigahertz per core. I'm pretty sure that's before the turbo boost. And then, la motherboard. Yes, it is a beautiful motherboard. It has plenty of things on it, like all that stuff there, and all that stuff there. I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know how many different voices I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to keep doing the random voices as they come out, and they're not going to make any sense at all. To me, or to you, or to anyone. So, I apologize now. Okay, so, let's unbox this motherboard. Want to be gentle with the motherboard. This is one of the more... Is it one of the more expensive? It's an expensive piece, So as I was saying before, this is an statically protected bag. So I want to touch the power supply that's here, that's plugged into the wall. I am now grounded. Physically, not mentally. Turn this around, get a little bit of tape off. Motherboards are not exactly fragile, but they can be, so you still want to walk around with them with pretty good care. There's not a lot of components that you can outright break on them, but you can break them. So this is an SLI motherboard, and I'm going to walk over here while I'm grounded so you can see it close to the camera. This is an SLI motherboard. What that means is that I can have multiple video cards on here, and I probably won't anytime soon, but I will possibly in the future. Depends on if I end up selling the whole thing before I get around to putting another video card in there, or if the person that buys the thing wants another video card, they can spend the extra money and I can put it in there, or put in even larger video cards. But essentially, this is the MSI Z270 board. It's their Pro Series. It has its DDR4 memory. It uses DDR4 memory. Has two M.2 slots for really super fast hard drives. Can support up to, I think it's 128 gigabytes of RAM. I'm only putting in 16 for now, which is going to occupy 2 of the slots here. Eventually I'm going to put in 2 more. That'll occupy all 4. It'll have 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is really, honestly, plenty. So, touch my power supply before I walk around again. Safety first, folks. Okay, so, this guy is going to get mounted right down inside here. I know you can't see anything at the moment, but what I noticed right away is that I'm going to have to get a few more posts. So I'm going to grab the phone here. Let's see. Hey, Kim. How you doing? All right, so as you'll see on here, the motherboard is inside the tray. These are your mounting posts. There's one right here. There's one over there. right here, right down there, right down here. So I'm going to have to add 3 more of my posts, which means I'm going to have to find those screws so that I can screw them in. Yeah. So that's essentially how that's going to sit. And that might mean I also have to cut off the live feed here because I'm going to have to search down those screws. And really, it's not as much fun or nearly as amusing to watch me hunt around for screws in my very messy garage. As Cedric, my roommate, can attest to. Can't find a darn thing in here unless you know exactly where it's supposed to be. This little guy right here, this is actually the shroud for all the connector pieces on the back of the motherboard. It goes right here. This is just basically a little protector plate so you don't get too many things beyond it. It also has some little stamped out areas that tell you what the different things are. Bye, Mom. Hey, Jody. How you doing? Jody, aren't you in a show? No, you're not in the show, are you, right now? You're not doing a show. Anyway, well, good to see you tuning in. You just might not be at the show yet. So, that's the back plate for the motherboard. Instructions for the motherboard. More instructions for the motherboard. Yeah. Okay. No screws in the box. So that means I'm going to have to go and look for the screws and put them in so that I can mount the whole thing. So that being said, thank you for tuning in. Jody, it looks like you might be the last one. There's one more on there. But thank you for tuning in for now. I'll probably start another live video here again shortly once I find some screws and I make a quick mount. I may or may not make a video for the mount for the power supply. It just depends on how far I get into it tonight. And then pretty soon this is going to be getting plugged in. And then maybe later on tonight we'll do a video of the monitor going in. Yeah, that's right. The 21:9 ultra wide monitor. Yes, yes. So much fun. Aren't y'all having fun? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. So Susie's still there. Okay. Hi, Susie. And bye, Susie. So tune in later on. Hopefully you'll see the Facebook post pop up and I'll be here. All right. Bye, folks. Hi, LG. So this is specifically for LG, the company. One little tiny thing when you're making your monitors, probably best that if you do design a monitor with a VESA mount, such as this, holes right there, probably not the best idea to put your connectors right below it. That's right, so I'm going to turn this around so I can see what I'm focusing on here. Because, you know, when you buy just about any mount, granted this is a large VESA mount, it's designed to go on many different types of monitors, but it's still a standard VESA mount, and you cover up your connectors. So, great job, especially considering I wanted specifically to use that display port, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright. Okay, folks, so this is the monitor mount. As you can see, there's a nice little chunk missing from it because I had to cut off a nice little chunk. And the main reason for that, and I'm going to release this guy, I'll show you. That's because LG, for as good as their monitors are, I do like LG monitors, I also really like monoprice mounts. But as you can see, when I put this on there, if I had left that corner piece on, I would not be able to get to some of my connections. And even still, for the HDMI, that's going to be a tight connector, so I'd probably want to order a couple of L connectors. Already scratch up the case. Oh, great. Anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But I do have access to my display port, and I do have access to at least one of the HDMIs clearly. The other one is, it'll be close, but I don't think I'll have to use two. But you can see the power also is in a very bad position. I haven't looked at the power plug yet, but I am pretty sure I'm going to have to drill a little hole. So instead of cutting the whole thing, I'm just going to drill a hole right on the edge and notch it out. Or maybe I'll cut it. I don't know. So, yeah, quick update. Alright, so here we are. I have modified the heck out of this mount. So now I can actually plug in the power to where it's supposed to plug in. And you can see it's a perfect fit. Perfect. Just perfect. Speak in my pirate voice. It's just perfect. Arr. Okay, so, yeah, that's that, and that's it for that update. Alright, bye. Well, hi, folks. Welcome to another episode of me building a computer. I'm going to look at the camera this time. So, I decided to put on camera some of this work this time. I took a whole bunch of pictures. I have all the computer components, so that's all going to get to go in hopefully tonight. I am working on the actual motherboard bracket so that it can go inside of the cage that's outside right now. So, what I have here is my trusty little Dremel here. And I have this set up so that it's nice and easy. It's out of the way, pulls itself out of the way. And remember, folks, whenever you're using Dremel, safety first. That's right. So it's best not to get a whole bunch of metal in your eyes because that hurts. I speak from experience of having plenty of things get in my eyes. Don't take that the wrong way. So, yeah, so just a quick little video of me doing some work here. And, yeah. Alright, well, so I'll show you a picture here of what I've done. This was the mangled mess and that is really hot. That's burning my finger. Thank you. So what I've done here, and I actually have to look backwards at my camera, so I apologize for the lack of focus. I had to cut this portion out. That's what used to be a fan bracket on this particular case. And I was having some trouble with the tin snips because I have an old rusty pair of tin snips that just weren't cutting it. Pun intended. Anyway, so that's the video for right now. I'm going to do some more stuff. I'm going to make another video and probably post a lot more because I have a lot of stuff I can do tonight. No work tomorrow, and it's Valentine's Day. You know, I'm a lonely guy. All I have is my computer to keep me warm and sparks. Plenty of sparks to keep me warm. Also, not a Valentine's reference. Anyway, alright. Welcome back, folks. So, now that I know where I'm going to have to drill the holes for the mounts for the PSU, yeah, I don't have the greatest vise in the world. I could move it around. I have a little bit more room on one side of my bench than the other because I built it as a tier on purpose. But I don't have enough room to actually put these in the position I can drill through easily. So, nifty little trick is take a piece of wood, because you want a piece of wood anyway below it. That way the drill goes into that wood and doesn't really damage anything else. Take a pair of grips and get it right there on the table, nice and solid. That way you can drill down into it, drill into the wood. This is nice and solid there. It makes it a whole lot easier for you to do this. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, it's always good to tap the hole first. That way, your drill bit isn't going to want to slip out of the spot you want to drill. Make sure it goes straight down where you want it to be. I'm over drilling the hole anyway, so it's going to be a little bit larger than what the actual screw needs to be. But that way there's a little bit of play just in case. Just like that. It's the first hole. And the second hole. So just like that, and we'll grab the PSU. And we're going to be using that mounting hole there and this mounting hole right there. And voila, perfect. So it's essentially a wash, rinse, repeat sort of deal. I'm just going to transfer the marks over to this guy and do it again. All right. There we go, folks. There's the two mounts, or the two rails on the mount, mounted onto there. And essentially, that will allow this whole thing right here to just mount nice and easily onto that. It's a little hard to see, but pretty much that's how it's going to go. Just like that. So I just have to mark a couple of holes so I can drill and put the screws in down there, and rails are done. Alright, folks, well, we have the monitor installed. That's right. There we are. All mounted in there. Yeah, we'll have to clean up some of this stuff, of course. But, you know, for now anyway, sits in there. Works pretty well. It's only a little bit wider than the actual center, which is what I figured it would be. Here it is from my face. So, I did not get the curved version, as you can tell. This is the regular version. And that was mostly a cost deal. So, it was a matter of spend $1,100 or $1,200 or $300. This is a 21:9 monitor. That's its aspect ratio. The resolution is a 2560 by 1080. So it's a little more than high def. It is full high def, but with extra pixels on the left and right. So, still a good gaming monitor. It is a high refresh rate monitor. It's a 144 hertz monitor. It is FreeSync, but I still can use it with my NVIDIA card, so that's not a big deal. So yeah, there's the monitor in place. Let's zoom out just a little here. Now you can see it. Well, hi folks. How you doing? I always have to remember to look at that little dot right there. So, today, besides the other videos I already made today, I'm going to show you how to put the motherboard into the tray. Not that a whole lot of you care, and the other people might already know, so... I've done something extra special. I've actually modified an old tripod so that it will hold my phone while I do this. I know in particular one person will really like that. And that person is my roommate, who says that I should corner the market on making tripods for phone cameras because he's tired of watching people do workout videos and have bad camera positioning. What's so great about this positioning, huh? Well, besides the fact that I haven't focused on this stuff. Alright, so, back to the plan at hand here. So remember, like I said in the other video, always have something that's always grounded if you don't have a grounding strap or wrist strap or anything else that can ground you. If not, wear nice, large rubber-soled shoes, which are what I'm wearing right now. I always just take the extra precaution just to touch that case. Notice I do not have any music playing in the background, because if I want to put this video up on Facebook, I can't have any music playing in the background. I did think about putting my own music on here just to see what would happen. You know, I figure if I play my music and then I get the warning that I'm playing copyrighted music, then I could probably go after whomever copyrighted my music. Yes, because I know all of mine, except for one song, is completely original. That's right. Alright, so taking out these little screws that go into the motherboard tray here. Probably should have done that before I started the video. Would have saved just a little bit of time. You will notice I have my hard drive tray in here now. Those will not be the final hard drives. Not the final hard drives. Yeah, that's terrible. Sorry. Yeah, that's just not going to go there. Hey, Jax. Okay, so screws are out. Put those over here. Touch. Even though I haven't moved. I'm being sniffed by the dog. What's up? Yeah. Okay, so motherboard. One thing you should always do with a motherboard, leave it in the bag until you are absolutely going to take it out. What will happen is if you take this out and you decide to place the motherboard on top of the bag thinking that you're protecting it, you're not actually protecting it. What's happening is this protects the internals from static electricity. However, the outside of it can develop its own static charge, and often does. So by putting your motherboard on top of that, you can introduce a static charge and ruin your stuff. The last thing you want to do is ruin your stuff. That's right. Okay. So this is the motherboard plate. And where this is going to go, it's going to go into this spot right here. And that's going to allow for all the connections to sit where they're supposed to. You want to make sure you have it lined up. That's the bottom. This is the top. This is the left side. This is the right side as we look at it from this way. And they almost always just simply snap right in. I say almost always because I have had times in the past where it did not quite fit for whatever reason. Little differences in the way the motherboard cases can get cut out and whatnot. Okay, so now for the motherboard. Ground myself, even though I haven't really moved. Put the bag over there. And the motherboard itself is going to slide right into place, and then what you have to do is play this little game of get everything into position, sometimes it requires a little bit of extra finesse for some of these connectors because the little flaps of metal keep it from going in perfectly. And you always want to check and make sure that nothing is pressed in like it is. So had I went ahead and screwed that in, one of these little guys would not have made it. It's not the most fun of things to do, but it is a necessary thing. Otherwise, you get this odd gap. Actually, this particular motherboard design, because it has this big shroud, it's actually part of the heat sink for the some of the components on there. That's good. They tend to get in the way, but where's my screwdriver? Because this particular version has this big shroud on top of here, it's not as important as it would normally be. Not that that piece is super important to begin with, but it does make the back of the unit look a lot nicer. So always start with just a couple of screws. I like to do the corners and one in the middle. And the reason for that is I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to make sure that we don't have any oddball ends or pieces sticking out, and that all of those plates line up just like they're supposed to. 3 is probably way more than I need, but doing it anyway. Okay, so motherboard attached, as you can see. Yeah, it didn't. There we go. Alright, that's better. So this whole shroud here, it plays 2 parts. Number 1, it helps to identify all the pieces that are there. Get this a little bit closer here. Helps to identify all the pieces that are here. Your audio connections, identify specific USB. So if you still have older USB 2.0, just like these guys here, you'll know it's standard USB, USB 3.0, USB 3.1. This is Type C. It's one of the reasons I bought this specific board. And a super speed port that also has power. So you can have something charging on there even when the system isn't on, which is always nice. Network, of course, HDMI for onboard video, DVI for onboard video, good old PS2 port, not PlayStation 2. This is for mouse or keyboard for legacy equipment. Interesting that that thing is still around. I believe, if I recall, that particular connector came out in 1990-ish, somewhere around there. 89, 90. Back in the 46 days. I think the PS2 came out on the 46s. I don't know if they were out on any of the 386s. Probably around the 46, 25 megahertz days, the old SX systems. Anyway, I'm getting way off base. So I'm happy with the fit. So now it's just a matter of putting the rest of the screws in. Now some people will tell you should not work with magnetic tools around your motherboard. Not realizing that it's actually really difficult to screw anything up with the motherboard with a magnetic tool, because really it's something that is very, very lightly magnetic, does not have a whole lot of magnetism, and it's not likely going to get close enough to any of the chips to really screw with the chips, nor is it nearly powerful enough. The same can be said for hard drives. People get wary about working around hard drives with magnetic tools. Same thing. The magnet on the tip of a screwdriver isn't going to be nearly powerful enough to do any real damage. In fact, there's a far more powerful magnet within the hard drive itself. That does not go for SSDs nowadays. I suppose SSDs are the exception to the rule because that's where everything's going. I doubt that they're, not very tolerant to light magnetism, considering there's going to be a little bit of it no matter what in some of the components. The power supply itself, is essentially the transformer inside of there is like a form of electromagnet once it's powered up, because it's just a copper coil around an iron core. One more screw. And yes, I am a fan of using all of the available screw holes on a motherboard. In the past, I have used just a certain number, thinking that it's going to be plenty solid, plenty secure, and have found that that may not always be the case. Forgot to tighten the first 3 that I did. Cool. Alright. The motherboard is now mounted. I am not going to do the RAM yet. And the main reason for that is it's going to be best to do the processor first. I could put in the processor now. That's really not an issue. The one thing I won't be able to do right away is put in the heat sink for the processor. And that's primarily because I still haven't bought any thermal paste. I'm going to be on a podcast tonight, so I'm not going to have much time to go to Best Buy and get some thermal paste anyway. Even though it's not that late in the afternoon, I'd rather just make sure that I have the basics done. I don't have any work for the next couple of days, so I'm going to have plenty of time to really tackle this. Yeah, so next up, what we can do... No, I'm not going to. I could put in the video card, but if I do right now, then again, it's just going to be something that's going to be more in the way than really necessary. Okay. So this is the ATX connector. This goes right here. It is designed to only go in one way, which is always nice. The other older motherboards had the 20 pin. I believe this is a 24, but I may be wrong. I'm probably wrong. I haven't looked it up in a while. It has this extra auxiliary pin. It's just more power. Just like that. And I'm going to worry about most of the cable management after I get this stuff plugged in. It's not going to be too bad. I'll probably have something right around here to hold some of this cable. And the fans should have plenty of ability to push air past that. I have not magically disappeared. I am simply off camera at the moment, so do not worry. I apologize for not being able to do this live. I really wanted to do this live, but Facebook being Facebook, just being ornery. Ornery. What I am doing right now is I'm going through cabling. So the cabling for the hard drives. It's more than long enough. So the hard drive connector, serial ATA is nice because it's very easy to work with. It's one directional. Older cable, parallel cabling was always a pain in the butt sometimes because it was really thick. It was hard to maneuver around stuff. These are all 3-way. I don't think there's any 2-way. It doesn't look like there is. And what's nice about the the modular system like this is that I don't have to have everything plugged in. So peripheral 1, serial ATA 1, serial ATA 3, serial ATA 2. I'm only going to need one for right now. That gets plugged in like that. Just do this. Make this the center. Puts this one on like that. And that way when I get another hard drive, if I do, it'll go right there. Now, thankfully, it's hard to see here, but thankfully, the serial ATA connectors on this particular motherboard, right here, here, and here, this is 5 and 6, this is 3 and 4, and this is 1 and 2. So, I do have a decent amount of clearance between the hard drives and the serial ATA ports. Sometimes you run out of clearance there and it can be really stuffy trying to get the hard drive. It wouldn't be too bad. I still have a couple of inches of space. In fact, I have 2 inches of space before the very dead end where the seat comes down, which is where the fans will be. So if I had to move these forward, I could move them forward. They wouldn't be too difficult. There's multiple mounting pins on each hard drive, so it's just a matter of moving them forward and turning them over too, because then that puts them at a different angle and allows you to get to the different holes for different configurations. So my first 2 cables are just like that. I don't know if any of these are longer. I think these are all the same length, yeah. So, power to the motherboard, power to the hard drives. There's a secondary power. This is for the CPU power here. So we want to pull that bundle out. These are the old Molex connectors. So if you had some of the older type of hard drives, that's what you would use. CPU. This is your 8-pin connector for the CPU. And it goes right here, just like that. And this is going to come around right over here. And this is actually a split pin because if it was an older computer, it wouldn't require as much power. This one requires a decent amount. And again, this is an 850 watt PSU, so it is more power than the system will actually need, but it's always good to have more power just in case. That is not a Tim the Toolman reference. Is not. Alright, so we have power for the CPU, power to the motherboard in general, power to the first sets of hard drives. The other thing I was going to say, instead of the standard hard drives like this, I will be moving to solid state drives. Very simple brackets that they'll use to plug in here. That'll actually make just a little bit more space for the serial ATA connectors down here. Also, this has M.2 spaces for hard drives, which will go right here and right here for PCI Express style hard drives, which is what I have in my laptop. Great drives, love them, very fast. And then I could actually get rid of this if I decided to just go with 2 drives. I can get an NVMe drive for the OS and really be good to go just off that. Especially since they're getting cheaper. The NVMe drives are still a little more expensive than I would care to pay for at the moment, so I'll probably go with a standard M.2 PCI Express X4 drive. They still get plenty of speed, just not as fast as the NVMe's. So yeah, There's not a whole lot more I'm going to be able to do now that I look at this, because I don't want to put in the video card until I have the processor in, because the primary video card is going to go right here, and because it's going to go right there, there's some room that you kind of have to deal with, because this isn't exactly a small cooler, although I should pull this out, just make sure that I have the proper clearance, because I have not done that yet. Really have to take that off yet. That is, I may have run into an issue. I may have. Ah, boy. Two and a quarter inches taller. That's not good. 6, of course. 8.5. Okay. Well, shoot. 8 inches. And this brings me up to 8.5. So that's 2.5 or 2 1/4 on the top. Well, shucks. It's not even on the processor yet. It's too tall. It is too tall. Well, I guess I know what that means. I'm going to have to modify some more stuff. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's not as big of a problem as it sounds. What it does mean is that I will have to move the seat up. I have two options. I can notch out the seat plate, which I don't want to do because that would actually weaken the seat plate. Or B, simply move the seat plate up 1/2 inch. It's really not going to bother the headroom at all in the case for where you sit. But these things are good to find out before attempting to shove the whole thing into the case after it's built. So you have witnessed part of the learning curve of building a brand new machine from scratch. That being said, let me show you exactly what will have to be done. Just ran out of room. Okay. So essentially, this over here. So essentially, what I'm going to have to do is remount these guys. And I've made this extremely easy, so all I have to do is take out these 4 screws and the 4 screws over here. That will allow me to raise my seat. It will put my seat at a slight curve. I already have this mounted so it's leaning back a little bit. So it's not going to make too much of a difference in the angle overall angle. But all I have to do is move that up half an inch. That gives me a 1/4 of an inch clearance. So if it only gives me a 1/4 of an inch clearance, I'm going to do the same thing. Move it up a whole inch. That should, let's see. So that's going to take away from the ability to bring the seat down like this, which was never originally part of the design, so it's not a big deal. However, the seat does fold down, and because it still folds down, take the weight out of the seat. Because it still folds down, I'll still be able to access the fans on the bottom and everything from the alternate side. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. So, yeah. Alright, well, not really a setback. It's more of a, you know, you live and learn. So that's essentially the motherboard, the case for the motherboard. It's going to go right down in that area where you were just looking, and a little bit of modification, and I'll be able to do a quick test fit, which I'll want to do. But at least now I absolutely know that when I go to put the cooler in there, and I could go with a different type of cooler and avoid that whole thing altogether. I can go with a liquid cooler setup, which a couple of people have asked me why I've decided not to go with the liquid cooler setup, and it's just, I don't have to. It's going to have plenty of fans. It's going to be decently quiet because it's going to be away from everything else. It's really not necessary to have the liquid cooling. That's just another component that could fail at the worst possible moment. So, let's see, what are we at? We're at 27 minutes. So that was a long video. So thanks for bearing with me for 27 minutes and change, almost 28 minutes. And I know there's been a whole bunch of videos I'm posting here in the last couple of days, but I want everyone to see the progress. And I have to change out a cable because I just realized I have the wrong end. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, folks, and hi, folks. Welcome back. So, another day, more components, more work on the computer, less things to say. Already 3 viewers. Hey! So how y'all doing today? Hope y'all are doing well. Hope you all liked the barrage of videos I posted last night now that my Facebook ban has been lifted by Facebook. So what I have to do is I have to make sure I don't have any music playing in the background, because if I have any music playing in the background at all, then Facebook will say no, 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 and then take me away from all of you. Yeah, it's terrible, I know. I've already lost all 3 of my viewers. I had 3 viewers for just a moment, and I've lost them all. Oh well. Well, if you're going to watch this video after it's live, today we're going to work on a few things. First, we're going to start by modifying the seat area, so all of this is going to move. That way I can get the area ready for this and not have to have any issues with clearance. I did buy me some thermal paste today. So I have that. So there will be a processor going in here today. We will have the heatsink going on there today. And because I essentially have everything I need, really I could feasibly have this up and running today. So we'll see. I'm I have plenty of time this afternoon. I have nothing else to do in the afternoon today, so welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy it. I can't guarantee it's going to be highly entertaining. It's going to be mostly me mumbling and staring back at the camera a whole bunch of times, trying to see if anybody's watching. Nobody's watching right now. I had one person momentarily there for a moment. So yeah, so stick around. I don't have anything else to do. So I figure I'd just leave this live. That way I can talk to everyone kind of randomly as they poke on and whatever. It's better than the recording the video and then putting it on Facebook, because the lengthy videos I had before, they can be rather large in size, and Facebook doesn't like anything larger than a gigabyte. So I'm going to stick with the live for today. Hey, Peter, how you doing? That way you can get a nice high quality video and see what I'm doing. So I'm going to start by not doing very much and kind of moving things out of the way so that I can tackle the issue with the seat clearance. Again, I apologize to everyone for not being able to watch the video of me making the rails for the power supply. It was quite a captivating video for all three people that actually watched that before it was taken off of Facebook. And by captivating, I mean probably the most boring 48 minutes you could have had. I promise not to make this nearly as boring as that, but I can't make any guarantees, you know. So, I apologize for the mess. You know, some people would plan ahead when they know they're going to build something and do it live. Me, I just have at it. I don't even have the vocabulary to use for the day. Alright. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to bring this down here, make this a little bit easier. I am enjoying my nifty tripod I made for my phone. That is right, I made my very own tripod. So today, what we have to accomplish, or what I have to accomplish more appropriately, removal of the screws here underneath the seat. That way this whole thing can come up. It will give me my extra inch of clearance. I only need about half an inch, just under half an inch clearance, but I'm going to take it up a full inch. That way I have no problems whatsoever. That way if there's any play in here, or if I have to adjust the rails again, which I'm pretty sure I might, I'm not going to have to worry after that. So I'll get the boring exposition out of the way. I'll undress for the masses. Just the sweater. I don't think anyone deserves to see me undress any more than my sweater at the moment. Alright. I cannot stress the value of self-tapping screws. They're absolutely wonderful. Only for certain applications, not for every application. In this case, actually, instead of all you having to stare at my butt, as wonderful as my butt is, I'll bring you all down to here. Be a little bit easier. Hey, Antonio. Oh. Yeah, I know it's not the Twitch stream, Antonio, but it was easier. You're right. So what we want to do is we want to go 1 inch higher than we are currently sitting. So right there. And Just remember, folks, if you're completely unable to move it on your own, get a blunt object. So we have now lifted the back end of the seat a full inch. That is the beauty of self-tapping screws. No pre-drilling necessary. They'll pretty much go through aluminum, steel, all sorts of stuff. Makes life a lot easier, especially when you're mocking things up. Yeah, it is coming along well. It is, it is, it is. Happily so. So it's progressing. I'm going to have a computer in it today. I already have the monitor in it. I don't know if you can see it right now, but let's see here. You can see the monitor up here. So that's in there. Once I get the seat raised to the height that I need it to be, we'll have the computer in there. I'll be able to start hooking everything up cable-wise. Hi, Susie. And, yeah. Yep. And maybe to get around the whole Facebook music issue, I might end up just playing some of my very own music in the background. Very own. Yeah. Point. Another measurement. Now it does change the overall angle of the seat. Because it changes that angle of the seat, probably be wise of myself at the moment to check and see how much of a difference it is. Oh, yeah. So it now does sit me a little forward, which is not quite what I want. So I have two options. A, adjust the seat, or B, adjust the front angle of the seat mount. Hey Everett, how's it going? So, first off, let's make sure of where my lowest point is, which is going to be right there. It's at 4 1/4 inches behind. Take the computer system itself here, and so 4 1/4 inches from this corner right here is the lowest point. So right here is where the lowest point is going to be, which actually means if I add 6 inches to that, it's 10 1/4, so it wouldn't have mattered. This is going to be directly over the cooler for the processor, which is the problem I was running into yesterday with the height. Now, I needed 8 1/2 inches from the bottom of the rail, and I have 9 inches. So I have an extra 1/2 inch of space for that tower cooler to clear, which is good. It's very good. So yeah, that means this is ready to go into there once I get the rest of the components on there. But what I want to do first is adjust the chair so that the chair sits back at the angle that I want it to sit at, which is a little bit back like this. And as you can see now, I can no longer pull the chair through the back brace like I did previously. I can still do it with the chair dropped down in position like this. So I can still have access to the whole front area down below there. It just won't swivel completely out like it did before. I would have to cut this guy out right now. And it's integral to the structure. I can do without it if I really needed to, but I'm not going to. no real reason to sacrifice it, because this was never part of my original plans anyway. This is just kind of a happy happenstance. So I can fix the chair one of two ways. I can adjust the chair on the main mount itself, which is an actual real pain in the butt, or I can add a spacer to the bottom where the chair actually rests down on the legs, and that'll take care of the problem as well. Alright, take care, Everett. So yeah, yep. Get this out of the way. Alright, the lack of music is actually kind of bumming me out at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop my live recording here for 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to get another music player that I have that I can plug in and just have music play in the background. It will be my music. Yeah, that's more torture than just watching me work. Thanks, John. So, I'm going to go get some music. That way I don't just leave this sitting here live. I will come back, I promise, in between 5 and 10 minutes, depending on how quickly I can find my old Zune. That's right, a Zune MP3 player. I still have one. It's great. It's awesome. It's everything that the iPod should have been. I can't even say that without disgust. I know. So I'll be back. Stay tuned if you can. Well, you can't stay tuned because I'm not going to be live. But keep watching in on Facebook, and I'll be back in a few minutes. And hi, folks. Sorry, you can only see the top of my head here. So today, I'm working. Only had a few minutes to really work on something here. So today, I'm working on my USB hubs. So this is a 4-port USB hub. You can see it from there. It's kind of hard to see it from that angle over there, but there are 4 ports on there. It is supposedly a powered hub, but it didn't come with a power supply. So the standard 5-volt, 1 amp, I believe, is going to be coming down that line, which is enough for keyboards and mice and stuff. So it'll still be just fine. What you see is I have it mounted. I have the lines running through the aluminum up here, and I'm going to show you how I did that today. So first off, go over to the extremely messy workbench, get the tripod situated here. Or not. Helps to twist the right things. So, what we have here is a monoprice USB hub. Hey Jalen, say what's up.
Hello.
So I have monoprice hub here, and what you saw on the mount over there, or on the computer over there, is the same thing. And today we're going to take this little guy apart. Yeah, it's not too difficult as long as I can get my fingers into the edge here. That's how I did it with the last one. Find the edge. If not, I can give it a little coaxing with a screwdriver. This one's glued on better than the other one, evidently. It's a much cleaner lip. This may not be going as well as I had hoped here. Let's see. This one is definitely sealed better than the last one was. There we go, there we go. Now we've got the lip open. I did scratch it a little. Once you get it going here, you do want it to be a little gentle because you don't want to snap the plastic that's on the inside. It's not actually glued in, it's just kind of statically held in place by compression. Those little clips there. So, there. Now the whole unit is open. What we're going to do is going to find... You noticed earlier that the Monoprice insignia was upside down, so this time it'll be right side up because I'll be able to mount it in the right direction. Or I take that back, it won't make any difference. It'll be upside down. Okay, so we're going to put a screw into the back side here because once I get it screwed in, I'm going to give it a little twist and that'll tighten this in its position. Alright, so first things first, always eye protection. And so we're going to put the screw in the back here, so it's going to be right there. Put this in on here a little better. This is not something that has to be exact. Eyeballing is just... just like that. And the screw's just going to sit in there like that. A little bit of a twist. And then we repeat on the unit itself. So here, Jalen, hold on to these. And that. Alright. Come over to the other side of the computer here. These top two.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah. Alright. Let's see. Get focused down there where we're going to be. So once again, it doesn't have to be exact. I'm just going to eyeball it because this isn't extremely important at this stage. That. Alright, Jalen, hand me that stuff. All of it. Go ahead and hand me that screwdriver that's over there on the countertop.
The red one or the black one?
The red one. Oh, the black one, sorry. I forgot I had a little one over there. Okay. Yeah. Right. This guy just gets screwed in. Real simple. Get it in fairly tight. And then so the USB connector is toward the back, so it's going to go in like this. This is the fun part, trying to get those little guys to line up in there. There we go. Missed. Missed. Of course, now I don't have nearly enough room for my hands.
Maybe my hands can work.
Yeah,
This is never smaller.
that's true. Your hands are smaller.
Just gotta tell me what to do.
Well, I would, but this is more of a feel for it deal.
Ooh.
So you have to feel once all the legs are in the proper holes. Otherwise, you just end up doing what I did and miss them.
Like what you do with this one?
Yep, just like when I did that one. I think I have it this time. Yep, got it. So once that's in there, just give this a little twist, and that will actually tighten that screw one last little bit. And blammo. Good.
Cool.
Cool, right?
Yeah. Wait till it's all working.
Oh, I know. And so that was the installation of one of the USB hubs. So thanks for tuning in. Hi folks. So, I figured it out. Turns out, wasn't anything wrong with the computer, thankfully. I always hate it when I build new stuff and inevitably find out there's something bad, especially when you order it from afar. However, in this case, it turns out just to be a bad cable. Bad HDMI cable in this case. So, means I'll have to route a new cable through the case because I had done that all ahead of time just so I wouldn't have to route it after the fact. But at least now I know. As you can see, images up on the monitor. Processor, 4 cores, running 4.2 gigahertz. Current temperature is at a nice 26 degrees Celsius. That's the motherboard temp. CPU temp 33 degrees Celsius. So even though there's only one fan going right now, granted it's not doing anything stressful, we're in pretty good shape. So come down here to the memory. Memory is right now running at 2133 megahertz. It is set for, yeah, it's running at its, well, I think, let's see, no. So DDR speed is currently 2133, so it's just a matter of going through and figuring out how to change that to make it optimal. Storage, and we have 2 old hard drives in here for right now. It's just so I can have something going. Fan info, only have 1 fan, so it doesn't really matter. Back to CPU here. So everything that should be enabled is enabled. And then go down here. HD audio controller, I think I can do a full test. The HCI rate is on. Hardware monitor. So, I mean, we're not doing anything right now, so it's not going to really cook the CPU at all. But again, the garage itself is not really warm at the moment, so that helps. But once this gets enclosed and the intake fans and the exhaust fans are doing their job, that'll keep it nice and low. But that just shows we have a working computer. Yay! Yay! So, yeah. Right? Well, thanks for tuning in, folks. Alright, not quite done yet for tonight. If you're watching this video immediately after the last 3-part video series, then you will realize it's after midnight for me right now. But, essentially, there was one more thing that came in the mail today that I need to put in, and that's the wireless card. Wow, oof, close up there. So, let's get this down here. Add it where you can see. Sorry, I'm doing all this work at my dryer at the moment. Let's get this plugged in so it's already rounded. So, alright, case is now rounded like I prefer. So, here's the Wi-Fi card I bought. That's an AC1300. It's not the fastest possible one you can get, but is within my budget range. So it's a dual antenna unit. And not that I actually have a router at home that will work at the speed, but you know, when I get the system out to conventions and whatnot, I would not doubt that there will be fast routers available, and maybe I'll get me a faster router for the house here at some point. So, open this guy up, and it's very simple. This is a PCI Express card. In comes the half-height adapter. The half-height adapter, so if you have a case that, let me open this up and show you. If you have a case that's a slim case, so instead of a tall sleeve like this one has right here, use the short sleeve, and that allows you to put it in a computer that's a much smaller case overall. Real simple connector. I already made a spot here for it. And, get that right up in there. I think I might have to get a screw out of here. Oh, screwdriver! Why are you a screwdriver? So let's get you in a little bit closer here. You can see exactly what I'm doing. There we go. So one little retaining screw here. And then right on in, just like that. Looks like I need to find another retaining screw. I wonder if this came with one. Let's see. Put that back in, just like that. I highly doubt this can be one. Most adding cards of this type really don't come with them, just the antennas. Give me one moment while I find the screw. Box. Sitting over here. Of course, conveniently, right where I needed it to be. Okay. This is a box of screws that came with my old case. Most of them came from a case that I gave to my nephew. So it's a lot of random screws for hard drives and whatnot. There's a very particular size, this guy right here, it goes into these spots. And this is why I always keep as many of the screws as I can, because you just never know when you're going to need it, right? Okay, Wi-Fi card is installed. Down here, tilt you up so you can look at my beautiful face. Bring me back over here. And so essentially, what you will see are two little spots there for these guys to screw onto. Sometimes they are labeled on what frequency band they are used for. In this case, it does not matter. So it's just a matter of screwing them on. Just the easy way. And like so, the wireless antennas are in. Yeah, a big aluminum case such as my whole setup will probably cause some attenuation, but for the most part, should not be an issue. Alright, well, with the exception of a hard drive, which is coming in a couple of days, this whole system is pretty much ready to go. I could install the OS on it now, but I'm going to wait till I get the proper SSD. Excuse me. Listen to my shoulder. So I'm going to get a proper SSD for it. It's an M2 drive. It's a 2280, which means it's an 80 millimeter in length hard drive. It's an Intel 500 gig. I'm actually going to switch it out from one of my laptop, which is a 128, because I want the larger one on my laptop, and this one is really just needs to have Windows and some games on it. And I have tons of other old serial ATA drives. I have a couple of 300 sitting in this thing right now I can utilize for anything I want. I have another terabyte. I actually have a 2 terabyte, and then I have a terabyte, and I have a 640 black drive, so I have a bunch of drives I can stick games on if I really need to have a lot of space for games. But 128 gigabytes, which works out to about 106 usable, I think, on that particular stick. 40 being occupied by the OS. Still tons of space for a game, I just realized. Yeah. Nonetheless. Alright, well, thanks for viewing. I am going to go to bed now, and wish you all a good night. Bye. And I now have working door fans. Yay! So they are wired into that guy, which is wired into my fan controller. So if I turn this up like this is the bottom door. That gets faster. If I turn this one, that one gets faster. Really, really cool. Yep, coming right along. Oh, and the lights. Can't forget the lights that are now on the ceiling. you doing tonight? See, I have my phone turned around this time so I can look only directly at the camera, which is going to make it a lot easier for me to actually pay attention to you. Anyway, as you can hear in the background, I have my computer running. That's right. Look at this. Look at this. I'm about to run a benchmark on Rise of the Tomb Raider. I have everything maxed out. The system's just purring away. It's hard to tell with the music and stuff in the background, the sound effects, but the computer itself, it doesn't make any noise whatsoever. So, let me maneuver myself into position here, and we'll start a benchmark. Exciting, exciting, exciting. So I have everything maxed out completely. The highest resolution that I can play on this monitor, which is 2560 by 1080. Every setting just cranked up to the max ultra settings. Running at 75 Hertz on the monitor. And just smooth. Nice and smooth. Next little test here. I think we have a winner, folks. I think this is going to be a fun system to play, especially when you can crank out visuals like that. It's rather exciting, and it's not even missing a step. I haven't noticed any slowdowns yet. It's looking good. I'm excited. I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah, Mountain Peak 73.66 frames per second. The minimum was 65. Syria came out to 74. Geothermal Valley at 69. Overall score 72.66. Not too shabby for something that has everything cranked to the maximum quality level. That's great. It's great, 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 great. And listen to this. That's right. A whisper. I haven't overclocked the video card. I haven't overclocked the processor. I only have 16 gigs of RAM. And I'm running it off a crappy old hard drive at the moment. Even though I had the OS installed on a nice new hard drive, the game itself is running off of a crappy old hard drive. So, that being said, I'm going to get back to work here. I don't have anything else to do tonight. I didn't go out to karaoke because I wasn't feeling all that great. So, computer it is. And I have tomorrow, all day off tomorrow. So, maybe I'll even do some stuff on this tomorrow. So, have a good night, folks. Bye. Hey, folks. Welcome back. So, today, I'm going to be working on the power switch. So, power and reset switch. We did a video a while back where I was cutting out the shape from the old computer face of an old computer. Been searching around all over the garage. I actually had to clean up my garage to find a little power button that had gone missing. So now that I have the actual button back, I can get to work on the mount for it. And basically, it's going to be a very simple mount. It's going to just simply surround this on 3 of the sides, just like that. I should put it on camera here. So it's going to surround it on 3 of the sides, just like this. And that way it covers off all the angles that are visible. I'll clean it up a little bit more before I permanently mount it. But then it'll get mounted flush right next to the seat down there. So, thanks for tuning in to watch, and we will get started. Get down here where it is important. And of course, as always, eye protection. Especially when working with a Dremel. As you have seen in the last couple of videos where I broke quite a few of these cutting plates or cutting discs. Okay, so the first cut is done. I'm going to take the phone off the mount here and show you. So I had to cut all the way through to the opposite side, that way that this whole piece right here, this whole piece will bend down. So if I didn't cut all the way through that corner, it wouldn't want to bend very easy. Let's just put it that way. Now that it is cut, we can bend it. It might be a little easier to see there. Okay. So, very simple bend. You want to put this right at the point at which you wish to bend. And line it up flush. And since it's aluminum, it's very easy. Just like that. Now, because I'm an idiot and didn't quite pull it down straight, just give it a little bit of extra coaxing there. And of course, check. Yeah, pretty much on. Doesn't have to be exact. It is aluminum. It will flex a little bit. See, that angle doesn't look right. So, check it against the right angle. Yeah, it is. Just ever so slightly. So, pretty good. And what that's going to do is that's going to come right along the edge of this guy, just like this. That forms the first edge. See? And I'll make one more cut right here, and that'll be the next. So, we'll do that. Take this here. We shall mark it. Just like that. And we make the next cut. Eye protection, as always, again. Alright, so that takes care of that cut. You see, right on down and through. Now it means we just make one more bend right here. Excuse me while I invade the shot. Just like that. Nice and flush up against the vise. And more time. And we're going to tap that angle on straight. Good. And if I did this well, it lays flat, as you can see. So this basically serves like that. Pretty good, huh? Yeah. Okay, so all that's left to do is get rid of the rest of this trim piece. Now I could, maybe I should. I think I'm going to go ahead and follow up this whole thing with one more cut. I'll just make a true surround. Although it's not going to make any difference because there's a big open spot on that side, as you can see. Decisions. since I wouldn't actually be able to cover that completely unless I doubled up on that edge, I could go to the store and just get a larger piece. I think I may do that. So this will be good for the mount as it is. I'm just going to cut it. If I need to, I can make a flat piece for the back end of it at any time. It's not going to be visible because this is the side that's going to be pointing towards the chair, so it'll work. It will, I guarantee it. And if it doesn't work, well, you can have your money back. And since you didn't pay anything, I guess I don't have to give you any money back. Not that I have any money to give you back. I pretty much spent everything I have on this darn thing. Okay, so that's where we're going to cut. So one more cut. And alright, I'm going to have to do it this way. I don't like cutting it where the good piece is the one that's going to fall to the floor, but it's not exactly going to fall to the floor, so not too terribly worried. And there we go. So what's left is to clean up those cuts. Should be nice and easy. I was about to use the Dremel, but I guess the Dremel's not really necessary to do that. Always good to do a little file work manually. This is not clamped. Again, it's aluminum, so it's fairly easy to work with. And there we go. And just for add a bit of safety, even though it's highly unlikely my fingers are ever going to hit that point once it's in the cage, because it'll be flush mounted. Doesn't hurt to give it just a little extra love there. Groovy. There it is. So that will mount onto that, and then that will mount onto the computer. Pretty good, huh? So yeah. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and tune in for more. Bye. You just die.
I bet that shit hurt.
Yeah, I didn't even get that on camera either. And I think you missed again.
Oh, shit. Damn it. Oh, shit. Okay, now.
There you go. Well,
Stupid bitch.
you know, you're being filmed right now.
Yeah.
I'll have to edit that part out. There you go.
Order of Trinity pursued the prophet and his people relentlessly until finally confronting them in their hypnosis.
I wonder if she's all beat up.
So what do you think of the whole thing?
Looks good.
How comfortable is everything?
Pretty good.
For even a guy of your height?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
You really forget about everything else.
Wait until the walls are in.
Scared me. Damn it.
go. Here's my half-painted computer, as you can see here. It is currently in operation by a good friend of mine and his son. His son has decided that he's going to play it today, but I'm going to take you for a little spin around the computer here. There's the front of the system. Sorry for the angles, I don't have a whole lot of room in the garage, but you can hear him happily playing the game right now. Look. Action through the fans. It's kind of neat that you can just see right through the fans. But Rob, I'm going to open up the door. Oh, what do you think? What's that?
It's good.
It's good?
It's good.
It's good? You like it a lot?
Yeah.
Is it a lot of fun?
Yeah.
The game or the computer?
All of it.
All of it? So yeah, folks, that's what it looks like in action. And we're getting ever closer. Get a shot down here. It's getting set up. Fans are almost done. Floorboard's going to be going in this afternoon. All right, Rob, I'm going to leave you to it. Okay? Close you back up here. And that's it.
It's good.
Well, folks, this is it. This is the system. Finally done. I'm going to have my good buddy here take a quick walk with me around the entire system. You notice it has some new feet. I put on some new casters today. Yeah, let's take a little walk around the system. It is done. You can see it's nice and tall, nice and big. Our front fascia is now done. And come on right around back to the side here. And we'll open it up and show you what it looks like. So, doors are magnetically locked, so they open nice and easy. So the system opens up. The hinges are strong enough the doors actually kind of float without the casters, but that's just this particular instance. So I'm going to close up this door right here. Instead of follow me over here. Go ahead and hop in the system. Hope it doesn't ride off into the sunset with me. So we have the power button right down here, and also helps you turn on the actual system. Okay. So system is now on. The whole bottom case is completely enclosed. We'll turn the system on. There we go. Nice good power light. And notice the fans come on. I have the fan controller right up here. So as I stated before, I have intake fans at the bottom. So they draw air in from below. I have exhaust fans at the top, so they exhaust the air out from the top. The system itself, the fans actually have more CFM than the interior of the unit. So it should sufficiently cool the system, and it has been for as many times as I've been gaming. So 29-inch monitor for right now. It's built to handle all sorts of monitors, so it's all set. LED lighting across the top, control system, so if I want to add some mood lighting, I can change the mood lighting if I want. So I'll go with the standard there. Slide out keyboard system, as you can see. Moves in, comes out, nice and easy. Plenty of room for the mouse, and it's sort of an ambidextrous setup as I toss my mouse. So you can move the mouse to either side, and you can utilize the mouse over here as well. So I'll move it over here since I'm right-handed. And so the system runs, as you can tell. I did some videos of it working before, so you guys know That's a pretty good gaming system. Nice and fast, as you can see, loads right in the windows right away. That's the power of that Intel SSD. Surround sound system full. So it's a 5.1 surround sound system. If you focus down there, you can see the subwoofer that's right down inside of there. Yeah. I can play a little sound file for everyone real quick because nobody wants to hear the bikers in the distance. So I'm not connected to the internet right now, so I'm not going to do too much in the way of demos. So, system is nice and loud, nice and clear. So, which is nice, makes it great for gaming. I do have headphones for the unit, and you can add any kind of headphones you want to it. That puts away nicely. All the cabling is now cleared and away. I have a USB 3.0 controller down here for any kind of USB devices. Right down here, and you can turn them on at will. I also have USB 2.0 controllers right up here. So, plenty of options for USB. I did manage to scuff this guy up trying to get this out of my garage though. So, door connectors as you see down here. This is for the rear speaker, so nice and easy to connect and disconnect. This is for the fans, so if I disconnect this and he points that camera up at the fans, you can see the fans are turning off. I'll plug this back in, those fans will kick right back on, just like that. So, pretty well optimized for airflow and everything else, and that's the system. I did show before, I do have an adapter plate for the steering wheel. It's just, I have everything else in the garage right now. I've already shown that it works, so we know that that works. I don't have any racing games on here right now anyway, so it's kind of hard to demonstrate. And as you can see, that whole case down here is nice and sealed in. You can take a look to the side a little bit there. You can see the intake fans for the computer. Take a look at the back of the system here. Plenty of access for the computer components itself. The bottom is sealed up so that the cables can't escape down the bottom. And that, everyone, is the Krazy Case. So, hope you all like it, and I like it. Thanks for watching.